Automatically formats new.
Hey! Hello, we are back. The things that happen when that starting soon screen is showing for what you guys can't see is great. Just now, when I turned that on, there was a couple things I needed to do. I saw that I had a little bit of coffee left from my last stream, which means that's been sitting there for a few days, which means I had to get rid of that pronto, because gross. Also, I had to get my Restream chatbot up and running, which had logged me out. So I need to do a reCAPTCHA audio challenge to log that back in. I don't know why, but Google insists on always giving me the you're not proper human, you need to do a test before they let you in thing. So that is super fun. We got it all working. Everything is good now, but that was about frantically me doing all sorts of things while that music was playing, and the little image that says, "Yo, I'm about to be there. Give me a minute." Hello, Crescent says. Hello, other person. Hello, everyone else that's here. How many viewers we got right now? Let's have a look at the little dashy dashboard. We got, it looks like 2 people right now. Hi, all of you. Yeah, I'm wonderful that you're both here. I wonder if I find that very cool. So, I think we've done all the testing and all the things we're going to be doing today. I am really curious how this is going to go, because I am super curious about what we're about to do. It's a thing that I haven't done before. This is very much unexplored terrain for me as well. So we're doing an experiment. We're going to see how well this goes. In the meantime, I'm doing a bit of prep while I talk at you guys, and then we'll just take it from there. We're gonna have a little bit of fun today. So basically, first stuff I need to check is if everything's actually working. I should be audible. Can people hear me? If not, well, if you can't hear me, then you wouldn't hear me say this to you. But if you can hear me, let me know. I'm also grabbing a couple of files together while I talk here, because I want to preface this a tiny bit with stuff. Let me actually have a quick listen to myself to see if everything is what I'd like it to be, because if it isn't, then that would be sad. Oh, look at that! I got a nice little ad for my own channel. That is wonderful. Love it. Love it. Love it. I'm just checking here. Am I, in fact? Oh, yeah, I am audible. I am audible. Fantastic. People can actually hear me. Beautiful. That's all I needed to know. So what I'm doing today is a little different from what we usually do. Like, we do hacking, we do coding, and now we're doing something else that I have literally no experience with. The title might give you a clue. It's a bit of a pun, but hey, puns are there to be had. Translation is what I want to cover today. So you'd think, translation is text, right? Text to text generally. So you'd think that that's accessible sort of out of the box, but I am not so sure. That's actually what sort of prompted me to start looking into this. What I found is that definitely is not always the case. In fact, the tool we're going to look at hasn't been screenreader accessible for a while. It hasn't been screenreader accessible pretty much since for the entire time it existed until like last year sometime. So that's great. I don't know how long they've existed. Probably like at least 10 years, if not 15. So apparently not always a given. Not always a given that just works, which is much sad. I'm trying to see if I can quickly download what I need to download here. The tricky bit with this kind of thing is that there is a lot of sort of, little tools that make things easier for people to work. Hello, Matt Campos. Welcome in. We're going to cover translation today. In particular, a tool called Trados Studio, which is a translation tool, a computer-assisted translation tool. A CAT tool for short. Basically, these tools do a whole bunch to help make translators' lives easier. They make, translations go faster. A lot of the time, translation is a lot of work from what I understand. I've never done this professionally, but I have done some translation work. Very much done this for a blind product once. I did like a manual, and one feature called the translation memory would have been very helpful when I did that, because in manuals, a lot of the time what happens is you get step-by-step instructions that start from a certain point. So if, for an example, you have options for cutting a file, copying a file, and pasting a file, what happens a lot of the time is that the first 4 options in that, you open a menu, you go to the right menu, you find the right option. That's all going to be the same. And I was doing this in Microsoft Word, which meant I had to type that over and over and over and over and over and over and over. It was not fun. It was very sad and very alcohol requiring. So that was not great. And I did not really know how to speed it up at the time, apart from just copy pasting that whole entire section, which is what I started doing at some point. But on the whole, that just wasn't a great experience. So I'm curious if today's going to be better. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be. We'll have to see. I do not know how well this is going to go, because I know that some parts of this tool that we're going to look at are accessible. Have been explicitly made to be accessible, but I don't know how far that goes. I don't know, how well that's going to go. I'm super curious. I'm trying to figure something out here. It doesn't look like this is going to work the way I want it to work, so it's going to have to be the long way. The thing about this whole thing is that, like I said, what I do on this channel, a lot of the stuff that I do on this channel is going to be can a blind person X? At this point, we've done hacking, coding, all sorts of things, really. And I'm super curious if we can do this. Can we, is there any kind of way for this to be productive in this particular sense? And I don't know if there is. We're going to have to figure that out. I don't know for sure. For hacking, we've sort of found out that if you are allowed to bring your own tools, then yes, absolutely, you can make this work. You can just make sure that you have a tool belt of tools that you can actually work with, and given that, given that the tools that you work are accessible, you can get pretty far. Obviously, we've not really been seeing that because of the whole We've been working with platforms that we know are inaccessible, just to sort of get through them and see where the issues are. Obviously, in this particular case, that's not the ideal way of doing it. If you were to actually do stuff, for an engagement, you would not be using something like Try Hack Me. You'd be using, what the fuck? Hang on. You'd be using something like Kali Linux or some other thing that just essentially is accessible once you have it set up the way you like it. We've just been covering a bunch of different tools in general that just do what they need to do. In a minute, I'm going to just open up the tool that we have. I have a trial for it. This is not sponsored by them or anything. I just got a trial. You can get a 30-day free trial. I'm very curious how that's going to go. And yeah, we're going to have some fun with these tools here in a minute. I need to grab a couple more small things, and then we can start going. I've been very fortunate to have a viewer in my network that does this for a living, and they gave me a couple of things to follow. So I'm not entirely going in blind in a sense that I know what I should be testing, but not how it all works. So I'm going to get lost in the interface. I'm going to not know where everything is. I have no idea. But that's essentially what we're going to do. I want to set a couple parameters for this experiment. Basically, I am a blind person that wants to learn if translating as like a job, as a career, is possible for me. I know a little bit about languages. I know a little bit of a couple of languages. And I'm going to see if, with that knowledge, I can actually be productive using this tool. There's a blog post by these guys that essentially says, they talk a good talk. They have a blog post that says, we did this. Accessibility is super important. We just did this stuff, and it turns out that when we made stuff accessible, it actually became a lot more usable for other things as well. So they're talking a good game here. I am cautiously hyped on how well this would work. I have my doubts. To be honest, if I see people do this, I call it Microsoft syndrome. They have a little bit of a habit of just sort of, we are amazing. We do all this stuff. We do this fantastic thing that we do, and no one else does. And AI, and we are amazing, and you should like us and buy our stuff. So I am very curious how well this is going to work. I have no idea. I quite literally have no idea how well this will work. I'm going to put it on the screen now. Let's see, Trados Studio 2024. I haven't opened it yet. It's going to be the very first opening. I hope that, for one, that we can capture it. That's going to be the first thing we need to make sure of. And then if we can capture it, if it's going to be accessible enough for me to actually get started with, because it may very well be that sometimes programs do this, usually unknowingly, but it's very sort of hilarious when it does happen. Some of the things that let me think. I've lost my train of thought here. Some of the things that the programs that I look at here on the sort of the workbench is that what happens is they've added a screen reader function, like they've added something that works with screen reader, but then you can't find the screen reader toggle to make it screen reader accessible with a screen reader. This came up in our when we did little what was that? The Element OS stream a couple of months ago. We had that issue where like we weren't sure if it was going to talk to us, and it did. Like, bless its little heart, it did. It told us to press so-and-so button to get the screen reader to work. But a lot of things don't do that, and sometimes like we'll run into that as well. I'm going to try it with the traditional window capture first. We'll call it Trados. My mug is gone for a second. I'm fixing it. Give me a minute. Okay, so what? No. All right, that should do it. That should have it be on the screen. Let me now move this source down so you guys can see me as well. It's probably good for streaming to have a talking head in the corner like you're supposed to. There you go. That should do it. Let me really quickly check my work here, and then we can sort of keep talking while I set all this thing up. But yeah, this is going to be a super fun. This is going to be a super fun experience. I know nothing about this. Okay, it looks like in the main control area. Yeah, we have Trados Studio viewable and IM visible too. Fantastic. So obviously, the first thing we're going to need to figure out is the onboarding experience accessible? Like, can we just start this up without doing anything yet? And we may very well find that we can't. We'll have to do some trickery to get it to work. Bear with me, I have way too many windows open, and it's kind of hard to find where I just parked my Trados. Where's my Trados? Where's my studio? I can't find it. We'll eventually find it, and then I will cry loudly for taking so long to find it again. But yeah, it's SDL that makes this. Apparently, SDL stands for Studio Dimension Level. I don't know what it stands for. I've never looked it up. But yeah, they do translation stuff. Apparently, that's all I know about them. Honestly, this is just apparently one of the. Here it is. One of the bigger dudes in the sector, as it were. Okay, looks like the setup thing is accessible, is in the sense that I can see buttons. Okay. At this point, I'm going to send speech on through. All right. Slow that down a bit.
Rate 35. Rate 40. Rate 35.
All right, so
Cancel.
What do we got? Looks like the dialogues are not coded in such a way that we can read them automatically, so we'll use a little bit of NVDA magic to read what
back
this
on cancel.
Says.
Wonderful samples. Sample. User current. Welcome. System collapsed. Space. Use one. Back on the next care. Let's set up. No next. Next. Let's set up Trados Studio.
Okay, there's just not really that much to see. Let's just
current user details. User profile. Samples. 1 of 4 completed.
1 of 4 completed. I guess the thing we completed is the welcome.
Next carriage return.
I guess we hit next. Now what?
Florian Beachers.
What is your name? Florian Beers. I have doxed myself because no one knew that was my name. Description. Hi. Okay.
Phone number. Hi. Email address.
Oh.
Florian name.
So this is an interesting thing. This is not the description. What's happening is that we don't have labeled fields for these fields. This is already sort of a mess situation. This is fixable with a little bit of NVDA magic. Address. I can see what it says next to the things, but these are not properly laid out together. These are not properly associated with one another. Very common on the web. Easy to deal with if you know how. If you don't know how, this might be annoying for you, or even blocker. Then again, we can just fill some stuff in. Now you know my email. Actually, let's not put that in there. let's put something random in there. Let's do my throwaway. It's my non-existent twin brother Rolf. That's usually my spam address. If you want to spam me, now you know how.
Phone number.
Phone number 0123456789.
Jasper Flory.
Jasper Flory.
TM user ID.
The TM user ID. I'm assuming TM is going to stand for translation memory, which is very helpful. And Jasper Flory sounds amazing for that name. Let's leave that. What is this?
Description.
Description. Hi.
Welcome.
And I guess that's
current
it.
User details.
That's what
user
we're doing.
Profile.
Okay, it does indicate, very nice. It does indicate what we're currently on. We are currently on.
Current user details.
Actually, is that really what
Welcome.
That is?
Current user details. User profile.
I think it literally just means that the current user is the current user, not that we're actually highlighting what we're on. So, take that positive point back. We're not sure if that's actually a thing yet.
Samples. 2 of 4 completed.
For now, let's just do
cancel.
Next.
Back. Next carriage return.
Okay, so there's no feedback when you press the next button. That is a little sad. Again, I don't think this is necessarily even their stuff. This may very well be like some kind of wizard component they nicked off GitHub, but
browse.
We'll see. What do you want?
Next carriage profile.
A profile
Combo box
picture.
default collapsed.
We're just going to go with default. I'm assuming that's a setting profile. What does it say? In Braille, it says description, user profile recommended for new users, default. Okay, we'll leave it for default.
Welcome.
Oh, this stuff does.
User
I've
profile.
never used this. I'm a clueless IT person that has never done this before.
Help.
We're gonna keep
cancel.
going.
Back.
The next button.
Next carriage return.
The last thing. Samples.
Finish carriage return. Cancel. Back. Load samples at initial startup.
Load samples at initial start.
Trados Studio comes with a number of samples.
Okay. This is something it can read. Again, with a little bit of NVDA object navigation magic. This does not read by default, which it's a low-hanging fruit, guys. You can fix that.
Trados Studio comes with a number of sample files which aim to get you started quickly, whether you are a new user or whether you have used Trados products before.
Oh, well, that's lovely. Sure, load that. I'm sure
Welcome.
that'll come in handy at some
Current
point.
user
Maybe possibly.
sample.
We'll have to
4
see.
4 complete.
All right,
Help.
so
Finish carriage return.
finish.
Restream chat row 1 column 1. Restream.
Hello. Now the question becomes,
Preview.
will it come
Trados
back
Studio
on?
unavailable.
Okay, something's happening. A little slow. It's a big old heavy program. Kind of like it's like the Visual Studio of translation.
Trados Studio
I think.
Trados Studio unavailable.
Okay, it says unavailable, so there is a dialogue.
Trados Studio
in
unavailable.
my way. What's going on? Something about the App Store. I thought that was unavailable in the trial
Desktop.
version. Let me see if I can figure out what's happening.
Home. Project configuration. Welcome. RWS App Store. View. Align. Documents. Add-ins. Help. Create auto suggest. Dictionary. Open. Retrofit file. Get started.
Right
Terminology management. Localism. More resource. Trados to show. Shortcut. Latest news. Tell me what you went to do.
Tell me what you went to do.
Translation memory.
Translation
memory. Open project package. Open a project working with cloud projects. Create cloud projects right from within Studio to benefit Pro. Trados Studio 2024 product activation. Perpetual license.
There it
Trados
is.
Studio.
Okay,
Trados Studio. Left click.
Click that. That's probably so. Some UI toolkits do this. If there's a window overlapping another window and it puts you in the bottommost window, you can't always get focused. It's just like a weird accessibility ancestry thing where it says the window is unavailable. It's not. There's something covering it, and you can still access it if you want to. But some UI toolkits do this. Most notably, WX Python does this, and I don't think that's what they're using here, but maybe. It's very annoying. I'm assuming I can just click, like, I'm still trialing or whatever. We got perpetual license.
Help page.
Or, okay.
Continue trial C.
Continue trial. There we go. Bye.
Trados Studio offers the complete environment for language professionals to edit or review translations, manage translation projects, organize corporate terminology, and connect to machine translation.
That's good for Trados Studio. I'm just pressing tab.
Watch the get started video. New notification.
Oh, I see.
See what's new.
Let's see. We got
Speech
what's new. We got a bunch of news.
Off.
We got a couple of things going wrong here. There's a dialogue in the way. Can I just not do this? Does this bracket mean close? Yeah, it looks like it did. All right. We've done a bunch of window swapping. We're in a sample project. That's cool. Let me just, with all the things that just happened, let me just make sure everything is even still there, because I've been seeing a lot of weird flickeries. Let's see what's been going on here. Just a moment, please. It's gonna boop. Yep, it booped. We may have to do some EHBOing here. Let's see. All right. Uh-oh. Yeah, it does look like it lost track of what we were doing. That is kind of... Oh, I think I might know why. The title of the window changed. So now I think it just lost its little mind and it's not sure what to show. Let me see if we can sort it out. I thought it would do it by like thing, but apparently it does not do it that way. Okay, let's put it back on the screen. This should fix it. There we go. AI, confirm please. Confirm if it's visible on the screen. I've already had like a bunch of like problems with things not showing up when I'd like them to, and that's not something I'd like to perpetuate if possible. Yep. Okay, we got it back. Nice. All right, so. let's have a little look around the window here before we do anything else. We're in a sample project, so we can look around a bit.
Combo box show all project tree view.
And this tabs, at least. I'm not sure what this tree view is meant to do, because that is blank currently, at least for accessibility.
Reports, project folders, grouping unavailable. Tree view, group by languages, grouping unavailable.
Okay, never mind. It's
Files.
not.
Projects.
It's actually not. Okay.
Filter projects, grouping.
What just happened?
Combo box show all combo box show all combo box. Unknown. Project schedule. Filter grid 1 table, band 0 table, band 0 row 1 row.
Okay, band 0.
Preview.
Sure what that
Filter
means.
projects.
Okay, so this is
preview.
the preview again.
Files.
And we have stuff in the tree view now, and these appear to be buttons? Buttons in a tree view. That's a choice. All right. I'm already noticing that this
control,
UI, at least this part of it, is extremely laggy with NVDA.
Control,
I'm not really sure what the point of that is, but we will...
Translate combo box collapsed.
We will see what we can find
Match tasks
here.
combo
I'm
box
just going to
collapsed.
open a little test thing that I was given to
Translate
see if
preview unknown.
we can get into a place where like things start making sense.
Speech mode off.
Again, I have no idea what I'm looking at, but we're just going to make this the best we possibly can. Allow me to quickly grab my tools. My tools. That's important to have. Because I have a couple of files that I was given to play around with, and I shall play around with them vigorously. Let's see. I even made a little folder for it. It's called Translation Stream. Like, I never make folders for things. I always just dump it in wherever room I still can find. And that's also why when my computer fills up with stuff, I never know where it's coming from and why it's so full. That's the whole entire situation. But, hey, we're making it work. We're making it work. All right? These are very distinct file types. I'm looking at the file I was given, the test file, and it has a file type of docx.sdlxliff, which is a very long extension, but that does tell me that it would associate. If I were to just press enter on this, it would associate with the thing. So if for whatever reason the open dialog wouldn't be accessible, you wouldn't expect that to happen, but Microsoft Word and Trends are actually getting pretty good at rolling their own dialogues, and while theirs kind of sort of works, I can totally see how someone doing that might forget, oh yeah, screen readers are a thing, and yeah, that would be a problem. So that you can do this from Explorer is a good thing. I have just downloaded all the things I need to download. There we go. We can now open stuff again. Okay. So let's actually try putting something on the screen. Like we have a menu bar. Does the menu bar work? If we press Alt, what happens? Uh-oh.
Preview filter projects.
Alt? Hello? We
Preview. Tab control sample.
Alt does not bring you to the menu.
Scan chart.
Right.
Analysis.
Or at least not that we can see. Interesting. Let's go find it with the
started. Reverted. Batch trend. No previous files. 5. Tab selected 1 of 2. No previous. Reports tab 2 of 2.
It does look like it opened a bunch of files in that
dynamic resource
situation.
string close.
We probably want to get rid of that.
Sample project. No previous. Dynamic resource string close.
Dynamic resource string close. Now I'm pretty sure that just means close. I'm guessing the dynamic resource string is something we should not be seeing. So I'm going
dynamic
to
left click. No preview available.
There we go.
Dynamic resource string. No preview of dynamic resource string. No previous. No preview available.
No preview
dynamic
available,
resource string.
And that
Close
would make
graphic.
sense because you're looking
No
at
preview available. Please select a project from your list.
There is nothing listed.
No next.
Opened right now, so
Preview.
that would make perfect sense. Nothing
Projects
is currently
list.
open. Okay, so there is a project menu button.
Language
Looks
pairs.
like there is a source language and target language. All the stuff you'd expect in a. Okay, this is English to German, France, Japanese. I don't
9,307.
speak any of those languages. So
Sample.
the first thing we'd want to do is open a project. Is that where we're going
Laptop
to fall
proving
over? I know
property
that you
page.
can hit Control-O. That'll probably work. So
No next. Unavailable notification. Sign into cloud.
that expects you to know what Windows convention
One total
hotkeys are.
notification.
Obviously, that's not always going to be everyone. I know very many people who just do not do hotkeys.
Unavailable. Tell me what you want to do. Quick access to actions. Unavailable. No previous. No maximized child form buttons.
And I'm just
Toolbar.
looking. Okay, this is a maximized MDI child form buttons. This looks very Visual Studio. Like this looks very probably made with WinForms or the one after that, MFC. Let's
Application
see.
menu button. Drop down button grid.
Okay, so this is
No
the
objects inside.
application menu grid.
Application
Let's
left click.
that. Does that move focus? It does not appear to.
Match
Okay,
app.
so
Trados Studio.
if there's a way to use the menu from the screen reader, I don't immediately see it. I'm going to use a Control-O to open a thing. Is that going to work? Yes.
Open project
okay,
file.
that just opens a regular old opening form thing. We're going to just open what we were given. That's very interesting.
No items. Speech mode off.
No items match your search. I haven't searched for anything yet, my friend. Let's see. Does this not let me open actual project files? SDL proj. No, I have another thing. I have a lif. I have a lif. And this does not open lifts. All right. This is a very interesting project. Okay, so what we're looking at here, what we're seeing is that we're running into a barrier. This is something that okay, I did find something for translation memory. That's something
Speech
we do
mode.
have.
Open server-based translation memory. Open translate single document. Open Trados group share project. Open the server-hosted collaborative project. Open project. Open project. CTRL plus O. CTRL plus O. Open package. Open package. No previous. Open package. Open package. CTRL plus Alt plus K. CTRL plus Alt plus K.
Okay, let's see what that does. Is that what we want? Let's see. Is that what we want?
Taskbar.
Oh. Oh no. What did I just do? Did I
Speech
just...
mode on demand.
Oh no. Did I just open JAWS? No, I opened Kindle. I opened Kindle. Control Alt K is also the way to open Kindle. Now we know that. Okay, that's good to know. Did not mean to do that. That's great.
Speech
Let's
mode
just click that with the mouse, shall we?
Speech mode top. Open project. Open project. Open package. Open package. CTRL plus. Open package. Left click.
There we go. Okay, let's see what this is. This...
Open package file name.
This one's PLX, RPX.
File item field. .ssh not selected.
That
One of
doesn't
82.
look to be the one we want either, but let's... Oh, why
File
did it
name.
put me there? Oh, it just messes with my folder as well that I'm starting in. That's annoying. Let's see. Is this what
no
we
items
want?
match your
No,
search.
it's not. Okay, so let's keep looking.
Unknown.
Again, this is probably something I could look up, or I could just use the association that this thing no doubt has made to my computer. But again, I'm trying to do this from a I don't know how this program works kind of perspective. I've been given a thing by a prospective client, and I am supposed
Graphic.
to figure out how to work with it.
Zero
So that's what
filters
I'm
are active.
doing.
Graph. Dynamic. Tree view.
So this is the blind person doesn't know how to computer. I know how to do this. I'm pretty sure I could just literally double click it and it would work. But I'm curious
Close closest
if
to
I can sort out
Restore put
what I'm
minimize
supposed
system
to
menu
do
bar
with what
contains
I've been given.
no
So I'm
previous.
gonna try that first.
Tree view.
And if
Dynamic
that
resource
doesn't
string.
work, we'll do it the other way and we'll just do it with a thing. So the dynamic resource string thing seems to be a thing that's common on these like always there buttons. That's a thing they can easily fix. It sounds like that's just a thing that's in their classes somewhere and you can just nix it out.
Graphic.
Good
Zero
to
filters.
know.
1 of 1 projects. New project actions combo box collapsed. Refresh current projects list. Sort project by combo box collapsed.
Let's see what we got.
Sort descending graphic. Projects list. Tab control. Sample project tab selected 1 of 1. Collapse tab control. Dock left. Dock bottom. Status bar. Dock top. No next. Status.
Okay.
Tab control projects. Sort descending graph. Sort project refresh. Refresh current new project action. 1 of 1 project. Zero fill graphic. Search dynamic resource string.
take a
Auto I.
look
Preview.
here.
Close closest of restore puts of minimize system menu. No previous.
Okay, so that bar
New
we
project
had
app.
open is gone,
Dock
and
top
Alt
grouping.
does
Ribbon
open it. That's good to know. Okay, so it does sort
Restore.
of do something.
No object. No next. Sub menu. No next.
What's pressing enter? It opens the actual menu.
No next.
No?
Restore R. Move on
Okay.
the restore R. Move size. Minimize
So
N.
at this point, I need to conclude that even though
Dock
like,
top grouping.
some of this works with the keyboard, it
Speech
does look
mode
like
off.
we're running into a bit of an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the file through the association and hope that that works. It should. Because this is I was given like I said, it's an interesting file type that I was just sort of talking about. SDLXLIFF, which is, according to Windows, a SDL file-based translation memory. All right. Well, I did not see that listed in any of the buttons, so we're just going to press enter on and see what it does. Actually, that was not the thing. This was the thing. This is a XLIF document. Ah, yeah, and I remember seeing that in the list. Let's open it. See what this does. Boom. Now the question is it gonna open more than one window, or did it just open it in the thing? We're gonna have to find out. Oh. All right.
Speech
We
mode
got a
top.
dialogue.
No previous. No
that
previous.
says,
Do not show this. Close. No previous. Select the target language in order to be able to select translation memories and automated translation servers.
Okay.
Source language. Target language. Target language. Alt plus T. Combo box N. US. Unavailable collapsed. Auto detected. Advanced. Alt plus V.
Okay, it looks like it's English US for the source.
Okay.
So we know that language.
Cancel. Help.
I
No
guess
next.
we can do
Toolbar.
Dutchy Dutch for the target language. I'm not super sure how this works.
Do not show this dialog.
It looks like there is a create.
Toolbar. Create translate.
So interesting. There's so many things.
Ultra grid
happening
1
all
table.
at
Ultra grid 1 table.
Ultra grid 1 table. All right. Well, that's an interesting thing. That actually, these kinds of things do tell us stuff about what was used to make this. Ultra Grid really sounds like some kind of .NET library that someone made.
No objects in no next. No previous.
Here's
Advanced
panes. They're just called
Okay.
panes.
Cancel. Help. Do not show this dialog. Toolbar. Create translation memory.
None of
Use collapse alt plus
this
U.
appears
Settings unavailable.
to be...
Move down unavailable. Move up unavailable. Remove unavailable. Import unavailable. Export unavailable. Upgrade unavailable. Create translation memory. Collapse alt.
Okay, so we can create a TM.
Use
We
collapse
can
alt plus U.
use. There's a thing that just called use.
File-based translation memory F. Server-based translation. Cloud-based resources. Any TM. Any file-based TM.
We do
any TM. Any TM.
have a
any
file-based
cloud-based
translation
resources.
memory. We saw that in the
Speech mode
Explorer
off.
window. So let's see if we use that folder. Okay, down and press enter. It looks like we can add this. So now we have to look for a SDLTM file, and that we have seen before. That's in here. Why does it keep making me pick from like my documents folder? There's probably an option somewhere that does that, and it's really starting to piss me off. All right. Okay, users, just my whole path, because why not? Users. Now, obviously, this is all ancillary stuff. Like, we don't need this to work necessarily. It's not a very good first impression, I must say, but this will work fine, provided, you know, you can actually use the editor proper, which we're actually here to test. So that's going to be super fun. Uh-oh. Something happened. Okay, so create translation, we did this. I guess now we just press OK to load all this in. The interesting thing is about the target, it's like selecting a target language and everything. It looks like that's already selected for us. And because of that, tabbing around, you can actually not change that. There's a checkbox that says, do not show this dialog again if the language pair settings for the document are known. And that is on, so I'm not really sure why we saw this to begin with. Okay. Now stuff's happening. Stuff's being loaded in, I guess.
Speech mode beeps.
Oh, there it goes. We have a project open.
Speech mode on demand.
No.
Speech
okay,
mode
this
beeps.
is really lagging out the screenreader right now. Okay, source. Interesting. Okay. Oh, whoa.
Speech mode on
What's
demand.
going on?
Speech mode off. Speech mode talk. Segment. Document. Source https://nose.nl/ segment 1 draft document source https://nose.nl/.
Okay. So it tells us a couple things. We are apparently now on a line of a segment of translation. Obviously, this is probably the source.
Profmet Persic Pitten Bitch Steel to Stellen and Pack Verkeerd. Segment 2 not translated. Document Profmet per.
Okay, so
Source https.
up and down do segment to segment. It looks like I am.
Segment document.
This is the first segment. It's blank. We go
Source
down one.
https://nose.nl/ segment 1 draft document source https://nose.nl/.
And I guess going.
Oh.
How do you go to the right? Okay, so the context here is
S.
source : http://nos.nl. NOS is a news website here. So now you'd have to figure out how you get to the target part. Like, where do you start typing? Looks like arrow keys are not the ticket. That makes sense, because if it were, then you could not actually go character by character, which if you're using speech, you're going to want to be able to do, because otherwise you can't see what something is spelled like. Let's try tab. Does that move it to target? No, that just puts in a tab character. Okay, so how you're supposed to go to the target? Control
Select
tab?
a window. List.
Oh.
Trados Studio test file .doc.
Control tab does do something, but not what we wanted. Okay. It looks like doing that.
List term recognition not selected 1 of 16.
Oh my god, what is all this stuff?
This project contains content in more than one source language not checked. Alt plus T.
What is...
No previous. This project. Auto detect segment source language unavailable. Segment source language.
Okay, so we have a whole bunch of little windows open, it looks like.
Preview.
And now we need to find
List
our
term
way
recognition not
back
selected 1
to
of
the thing.
16.
We have term
See
recognition.
user story
I'm not really sure what that is, but it doesn't look super
Trados Studio
available.
test file
So what I'm
.docs.
seeing,
New
a lot of these
notification from
so
web.
far is that a lot of these are not super accessible. Like, you can probably get their contents,
Status bar.
but it's not great. It does look like they really focused their efforts on the editor, which is generally okay. The really big issue is that if you do it in this case, you would need to know like how to make it work. And obviously when you get out of the editor, out of the accessible part, you need to be able to get back into the accessible part. So Where am I right
Document
now?
source
What is
https
this?
/
Okay, I
no
see the source right there.
graphic. No matches found. Unavailable.
No matches found, I'm assuming refers to the translation memory.
No unavailable. Graphic.
We have two
Unavailable.
buttons with no labels on them. They are currently grayed
No
out.
objects
There's
inside.
nothing in there. Okay.
Doc left.
So if I wanted
Doc right.
to
Status bar. Doc top.
translate
No
this
next.
particular
Status.
phrase, how
Doc
would I
graphic.
go about
Unavailable.
that?
Unavailable. No matches found. Graphic.
I know I'm a super good Dutch translator. This is like I have all the credentials, but how do I put
Document
my
source HT.
fantastic translation
Doc bottom.
in a place
Doc
where
right.
I can actually
Doc left. No open term
put it
base.
in there?
No open term base.
Interesting. This
No
is like
open
about
term base.
term
No open term. No open term. No o- no o- no o- no o-
Let's
no
just
open
loops.
term base.
That's kind of
Trados
interesting.
safely remove hardware and eject media.
Alright.
Status bar. Preview. Preview. Tab control.
Here's the source. What if I press enter on this? Was that anything? No.
Source https / nose dot profmet persik bitten bitch stil te stellen en packed verkeerd. Segment 2 not translated. Document profmet persik.
Proef met perzikpitten bij speeltoestellen in Urk pakt verkeerd uit. Well, it's Urk, so that's going to happen. But how do I translate?
Profmet persik bitten bitch stil te stellen en source https
F6?
/ nose document source https / nose document source
No.
document source
Okay.
https /
Again, tabbing just
segment
puts in
document
tab
S
character.
segment
How am I
1
supposed
document
to
source O
switch?
S
I am so confused. I know that you can like hit Control Insert to move this like the segment from source to target.
speech mode off.
So that'd do it, but I'm assuming there's a way to just navigate from one to the other. How would that work? We have, if I go Control, oh wait. What's this do? What's this do? Turn the speech off for a second here. Where are we now? Where are we now? Because like right now we are in what NVDA calls a pane. It's being a pain for sure. Can I actually see the developer information for this real quick? I want to see what I'm looking at. So this is a pane. It's what is this? Parent link Microsoft HTTP proxy unmanaged UIA automation core.dll. Okay, so that's not really very helpful. Let's see what else I can see. Runtime, got framework. Oh, it's WPF. I was right. It's WPF. So this is like Windows Presentation Foundation is a thing that they used back in 2008, I want to say, around that time. It's like the WinForms sequel. And they're definitely using some third-party components, which is not great for accessibility because they may not actually be able to change them very easily. But, okay, we're back in the source. Going down seems. Oh wait, what?
Speech source https / no.
Okay. So what? Can I type here? Hello. I cannot type there. I can. What is this?
Trados Studio test file dot system menu bar.
A lot of these things are not labeled. So,
Minimize move to restore close preview tab control.
Makes it
Test file dot docs dots to flip translation star tab selected.
Tab.
No next. No up. No next. Tab control. Dock left. Dock right. Dock bottom.
We got the buttons for docking stuff. That's
dock
important.
top. No open term base. Dock left. Dock right. Graphic. Document source https / nose.nl / no matches found. Unavailable. Unavailable. Graphic. Dock left.
What if I click?
Unavailable. Unavailable. No matches found.
Here.
No matches left. Click.
No,
Unavailable.
That doesn't do anything. Okay.
Dock right. Dock bottom. Status bar. Dock top. No next. Stat all segments. Ends. 43.52%. 56.48%. 0.00%.
Okay.
Chars 20 / no next. No
Looking
next.
at the status bar here, that's
Status
all
bar.
readable. That's good. That's definitely not always the case. So
Preview.
kudos for them on that.
Tab control.
And again, this is probably really
Test file
like,
docs
easy or whatever. Just not really seeing it yet. We'll see. We'll
document source https
we can get to this. We can now move
source
again. Okay, that's good.
segment
Scroll
document
down. Maybe that does something.
source
No,
https
that doesn't.
profmet persik bitten bitch stilt segment in profmet persik bitten under version stilt te stellen en glitch gene success segment profmet persik bitten bitch stilt te stellen en packed verkeer doet
Okay.
segment source http segment 1
That is pretty interesting.
profmet persik segment 2
When you hit control to shut the speech up, it tells you what segments you're in. I'm wondering if that's by design. That's kind of interesting.
Oot. In Profmet Persic Bit non-diversional
It
skill to
does
spell in
look like
Profmet Persic in Profmet Persic Bit segment 3
we can
not
use
translated.
paragraph commands to go through segments. So if you don't want to read the entire segments, you can use that to go to the next one. What I have
Profmet
not
Persic Bit and
figured
Bit
out
skill to
yet
spell
is
in
how
Earth
to
Act Virtue
actually
segment source
take a
https
segment and
//nose
say,
segment
I know
tab
the answer. I want to play this. I know.
tab source /ht/nose
Control, okay, so you can do control right to go through Word, that's
tab
good.
source
You can also
htt
do shift and right to use highlight, that is also good. Definitely not always a given that that works. So we have some good start here. Like we can edit source, we can edit a couple of things. We can even use standard Windows conventions.
copy
And we can copy paste and things, but we can't
segment
actually
document
translate it, looks like. How do you
speech
move?
mode off
Let's actually Google if we can find if there is a hotkey to go from like source to target with focus. Okay. Let's see. Go from source to target with keyboard. See if they give us like a little hint on how you're supposed to do it. Why is my caps lock on? That's helpful. How to move from target to source via keyboard. Okay. There's a forum topic, so I'm glad I'm not the only one who doesn't immediately see how you're supposed to do this. Let's have a look. There's a cookie I'll just click the cookies. I know you guys can't see this, but I can see it, and that's good enough for now. All right, so let's see. There's a person here. Let's call him John Hopeful, who's trying to do the exact same thing I'm trying to do, it looks like. And they say, find and replay. Okay. In my Trados Studio 2024, the F4 shortcut copies source to target, ceases to work. Ceases. That's an interesting cognate there. Ceases with S-E-I-Z. That's not the C's you want here. I don't think. To work after find and replace is used. To be precise, after F IND and R replace pop-up window is closed. F4. Okay, so F4 seems to move back and forth. Wait. Let's try what we just found. Okay, so we are here. What happens if I hit F4? Just
source
for fun?
https /
Nothing whatsoever.
Profmet Persic Bit and Bit source https //nose.nl/ segment 1 draft document source https
Can I delete any of this? Can I just remove this? I can't remove this. What if I just delete the whole thing? Okay.
segment 1 draft document segment
Wait, are you supposed to just always edit in place? Is that what it is?
segment 1 draft document.
It's empty now, so what if I type here something? Bron.
Profmet Persic Bit Bron https //nose.nl segment 1 draft document Bron https //nose.nl.
Okay, but can I now no longer see this thing?
No previous. Document source https //nose.nl/.
Okay, that's still. How are you supposed to see that from here?
Segment
though?
document.
Huh.
Bron https //nose.nl segment 1 draft document Bron https //nose.nl. Tab.
So with object navigation,
no previous. Document Bron document source https.
It's actually really easy. You can see the source, and then you can't. I don't think you can edit that.
Left click document source Profmet per source http segment document source https document source https /document source https //nose.o.
I am so confused. Now I can delete this again? Can I delete this? No, you can't edit this. Okay, so you can look at the source. I just clicked it with the mouse, and you can end up there. I just don't know how you get back at that point. Can you get back?
Profmet per source https //nose.nl Profmet source https //nose Profmet per source segment document source Profmet per p space p.
What if I just start typing?
Source Profmet per bit.
No, so when you're in this particular spot, you can't type. You have to get
document
back
Profmet per bit document Profmet per document tab doc left.
That is fascinating. Okay, so boop, escape. No.
E.
Control tab. No.
Select the window.
Or maybe
list tab control.
Okay, now I'm lost. I have lost the plot. Obviously, you're not really meant to be doing what I just did, but I'm trying to figure out if we can now get ourselves back. Okay, we can get ourselves back. So now we're back in the actual editable copy. So it kind of keeps you on track in the sense that you can you just have the...
Profmet Persic Pitten Bitch Steel to Stellen and Pack Verkeerd. Segment 2, not translated. Document Profmet Persic Pitten Bitch Steel to Stellen and Pack Verkeerd.
So this is the second segment, proof met basic bit, blah, blah, blah. And it looks like it always just gives you the source in this target. Is that how it works? If I start typing, yeah, it doesn't overwrite this. It just sort of hangs out there. That's interesting.
FDSAR.
I don't necessarily think, I know if I would want that. I think I just like it to just tell me what the thing is, and then I'll just type. But
P selected.
Apparently, to do that, you have to highlight this first like this.
Profmet Persic Pitten Bitch Steel to Suit. Spelling error Profmet spelling wrong.
Okay. So
spelling error Profmet spelling error Persic.
Very clearly I am missing a few things. Like I'm sure there is like a number of hotkeys that I am entirely missing, and a workflow that there's like maybe a webinar I can look at or something to figure out how you're supposed to do this, but this does work. I can translate at this point.
Ooh, it's selected.
Delete.
Unselected.
Now it's gone.
No previous. Document. Document Profmet Persic Pitten Bitch Steel to.
And I can use object navigation.
Tab control. Document Profmet Persic Pitten Bitch Steel to Stellen. Document Profmet Persic. Document Profmet Persic.
But it gets stuck, and if you hit control, it goes away. That is really interesting.
Tab control. Document Profmet Persic Pitten Bitch Steel to Stellen and Pack.
So test with peach seeds.
Tab control. Document Profmet Persic Pitten Bitch Steel to Stellen and
at speeltoestellen at Jungle Gym in Urk does not end well. I guess that would be a good translation for this. But now you have to sort of check
Tab
out
control.
The thing.
Document Profmet Persic Pitten Bitch Steel to Stellen and Pack. Document Profmet Persic Pit. Document
so it gets stuck on the thing. You can't easily flip back and forth. I think for any old translation software to actually be helpful in being faster, that is the first thing I'd need to figure out. How can I quickly flip between what the source is saying and what I'm typing in the translation? Because right now I can't really keep those next to each other, and you're gonna need to be able to do that. Like particularly when you're doing really nuanced stuff, you're gonna need to be able to see what you're doing. And right now you can't. And that could be a Trados thing. It could be a me thing. I don't know what you're meant to be doing to make that work. Actually, let's Google the accessibility for this and let's see what they say about their own stuff. So I'm actually kind of curious now, because we're getting somewhere. We can certainly do certain things, but it does seem very I don't want to say bare bones, but there's definitely like work to be done there still. And I think I know that, but let's have a look. Trados accessibility. Is there some kind of help about how this is supposed to work? Let's see. I just opened this page. I'm going to look for the word screenreader, see what it says about screenreaders. It says, in addition, with the launch of Studio 2024, we have enabled screenreader support, allowing visually impaired users to complete a project round trip with ease. Users can leverage screenreader software to access and interpret key features and screens in the Studio desktop application, specifically the ribbon, project wizard, manager view, and the desktop editor. Currently, Studio 2024 offers support for JAWS, NVDA, and Windows built-in narrator. With the improvements made, really the most accessible feature, cat tool on the planet, blah, 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 and we're not done yet. Our aim is to make Studio as accessible as possible. If you have any suggestions on how we can better improve our accessibility, please leave your feedback here. A little link you can click to make it better. Resources. Get ready to bridge. No, they're very marketing oriented, I can see. As for agencies, is there anything how you're supposed to do this? I'm curious. I'm just gonna quickly look around here. Accessibility, disabled users of this is all. This is a couple of years before this happened. So this is already essentially an interesting accessibility thing right here, because I'm looking for guidance and I'm not really finding it. I'm seeing a blog post that somebody else wrote about this. Wait a second. What? Enabling, okay, wait, this may actually not be for this. Select user settings. Appearance. I think that's for the website. Let's see, is there anything? Trados enhances platform with new accessibility AI and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, nothing really clear on how you're supposed to do it. Okay, okay. Although I am curious if you're supposed to turn something on first. I don't think so. The ribbon is supposed to be accessible. Oh, now it is. Okay.
Speech mode
The ribbon
talk.
is supposed to be accessible, and now it is, sorta?
Review tab. Home tab selected.
But not really?
Segment 3, segment 2. Draft. Document test
Let's
with
try it
each
again.
seeds. Doc top grouping. Ribbon property page.
Yeah,
Ribbon
Alt
tab.
does
Tab
bring
control.
it up, but then you can't navigate it. Nothing works. So I have to
Review tab. Home no previous.
use
Review
object
advanced tab.
navigation, which again,
View
that's
tab.
not a user-friendly way of
Advanced
doing it,
tab.
but we can
View
make
tab.
it
Add-ins
work.
tab. Help tab. No next. No ribbon tabs. Maximize dice. Ribbon tabs. Home tab selected. No objects. Review. Advanced view. Add help. No next.
I
No
can see
next.
the tabs, but not the tabs contents. That is a bit of a
No
problem.
next. Ribbon tabs. Tab control. Maximize die applic. Home property page.
Oh wait,
Configuration
no, I can't.
toolbar.
It's just it's a little harder to find. Let's
Clipboard configuration toolbar. Project settings. No next.
see. Project
No
settings.
previous.
We
No
might
next.
need that later, but I think we've already done
No
everything
objects
we're going
inside.
to be doing in
Configure
there, so
clipboard
we
toolbar.
should be good there. This
File
is
actions toolbar.
clipboard, this is file actions.
Formatting toolbar. Quick insert
formatting,
toolbar.
quick insert,
Translation memory
translation
toolbar.
memory.
Terminology toolbar. Segment actions toolbar. Navigation toolbar. Editing toolbar. No next. Find submenu. Replace. Select all. No next. No next. Editing tool. Home prop. No next. Application. Maximize die child ribbon tabs. Tab control. Home tab. Review. Advanced view tab.
I'm guessing if I
tab.
want to
Help
mess
tab.
with stuff, I might have to do it in the
Add view. Advanced tab. Review tab. Advanced tab.
Advanced maybe?
Advanced left click. Ribbon max application menu button. Advanced prop formatting. File actions. Segment actions tool. File active document. No next. No next. Segment act bookmarks toolbar. Any TM toolbar. Editing toolbar. I'm behavior symbols toolbar. No next.
Yeah, this is
Inserts.
all
No
very
next. No next.
cool.
Symbols. Advanced. No next.
I'm looking for like an
Application
overall
menu button drop down. No
settings
objects inside. Advanced
situation.
property
Let's see
page.
if they have
Apple
that
maximize die child ribbon tabs.
accessible, 'cause
Close.
there might be something
Ribbon
we have
home
to
tab.
toggle on for this to work first.
Review
So
tab.
far, I'm
Advanced
not
tab selected.
seeing
View
it,
tab. Add-ins tab. Help tab.
unless it's
No next.
in here.
Help left click. Ribbon Mac application menu button. No object. Help property. Online videos tool. Community tool. Web resources. Actions toolbar. Tips toolbar. Action check for updates. Check product activation. Customer feedback about Trados. View license agreement. No next. Action tips toolbar. No next.
All right. I don't really see it. That's fine.
Segment 3. Segment 2. Draft document.
But yeah, so we've gotten a little bit to work.
Try new project. Translation memory. Align file types.
I
PDF.
just hit Alt Q. That is the hotkey that you
Speech
bring
mode
up
off.
in Word to get like a typey thing where you can type what you want to do. If I just type options here, is it going to do anything? Oh, tradostudio.tellmeprovider.commands.command action. Yeah, this is definitely C# code. Okay, yeah, we're getting somewhere. Let's have a look at options real quick, see if we can do anything there. Editor, spelling, autocorrect, translation results window, fragments matches window, concordance search window, font adaptation, automation, auto propagation, languages, review, colors, translation memory, and automated translation. We're not going to be automating stuff just yet. Microsoft Word 27 2019, SDL, XLIF thing, general. Maybe in general, we'll look around here a little bit more first. Common, embedded content. There is a lot of settings in this. That's kind of nice, I guess. All right. Microsoft PowerPoint.
Speech mode. Common collapse. Embedded quick insert. Font mapping. Not so common. Embedded content collapse. Common collapse. Microsoft.
Yeah,
Dot
this
common
seems
embed quick
to
font. Microsoft common embedded quick
jitter
insert.
a
Font
little
mapping.
bit
Font
here.
mapping. Common embedded content. Quick insert. Embed common expanded. Embedded content
What's
collapsed.
in here?
My collapsed.
We're
New
not.
notification
Oh,
from
I see what
WhatsApp.
happens. I see what happens. Let's have a look.
Microsoft Excel 2 with the content processing. Common collapsed. Embedded
yeah.
content. My collapsed. Microsoft collapsed. Microsoft collapsed. Microsoft collapsed. Microsoft collapsed. SD collapsed. File types expanded. Auto suggest expanded. Editor expanded. Collapsed. Auto suggest expanded. Translation collapsed.
Just expands a
File
whole
types
bunch of things I
expanded.
don't necessarily
Collapsed.
want to look
Embedded
at right
content
now.
processors
I'm just
expand.
looking at
Collapsed.
stuff.
Verification expanded. Collapsed. Language pairs expand. Collapsed. Default task sequence collapsed. Translation quality assessment collapsed. Translation collapsed. Colors expand. Collapsed. Keyboard shortcuts expanded.
Oh, look at this.
Advanced display filter 2.0 collapsed. Alignment collapsed. All views collapsed. Cloud collapsed. Editor collapsed. Editor grader. Editor collapsed. Editor grader quick insert toolbar collapsed. Editor grader TM window. Editor grader track changes collapsed. Files collapsed. Editor grader quick insert
Got some
toolbar
interesting
collapsed. Editor
stuff in
collapsed.
here. Anything we
Expanded.
can do
Editor grader
here?
quick insert toolbar collapsed. Editor expand. Keyboard shortcuts. Editor grouping. Ultra grid 1 table. Band 0 table. Band 0 row 120. Band 0 row 1 action view bookmarks not selected. Band action verify not selected. Band action view default not. Band action view internally. Band action view internally. Band action view internal. Band action view internally. Band 0 band action view source and target not selected.
Oh wait.
No objects. Shortcut CTRL plus shift plus B not selected.
Control Shift B for
action view source and target not selected.
Source and target. What does that do?
Band action view source not selected.
Oh, view
no
source.
No objects inside. Shortcut CTRL plus shift plus Y not selected.
Control Shift Y.
Action band 0 row 1 action view internally target not selected. No objects if shortcut CTRL plus K not selected. Band 0 action view source not selected. Band 0 action view source and target not select. Band action view target not select. No objects inside. Shortcut CTRL plus shift plus P not selected.
So Control Shift Y and Control Shift T. Is that it?
Prof test with peach seeds at jungle gym and spelling error does not end well. Segment 2 draft document test.
That does absolutely nothing for screen readers. Yeah, I don't know. I think they've done their own little thing for screen readers, and I have no idea
speech mode off.
How you're supposed to use it. There seems to be no help about how that's supposed to work anywhere. So while they made it accessible-ish, it's like very unclear how you're meant to use it. Again, you can use it. You can use it fine. I'm being pedantic here. You can absolutely work this way. It's not great in the sense that what I'm struggling with is that you can't really quickly flip between source and target, but if you have a good memory, you can read the source segment, then translate it, and then check after, I guess? I don't know. So there's a whole lot of things you need to do here. Like you need to be able to verify things. You need to be able to spell check. Is all that stuff gonna work? I have my doubts, to be honest, because I don't know. Right now, I'm looking at the source right here. It's here. So it's here where I haven't translated yet. I can absolutely see it. And if you've already translated it, it gives you the English version or the
Ron https//nose.nl segment 1 draft document Ron https//nose.nl segment Ron test with peach seeds at jungle gym and spelling error does not end well. Segment 2 draft document test with peach seeds at jungle gym and spelling error does not end well.
You see, and it doesn't even tell you the source at this point. You need to go hunt for that.
No previous. Document test with peach seeds at document test with peach tab control.
I don't
no objects tab control.
Know how you would do that.
Close closest of restore put some minimize move the window.
Definitely
system menu bar contains commands to
some kind of learning curve. And again, I am not familiar with this software. Maybe there is some kind of thing you can do to really quickly jump from one to the other. It's even less, it may very well not be a thing you can do because you can do that with your eyes. You can look and see it right there, but you cannot do that with screen readers. So it's like, did they forget that that's a thing you need to be able to do? I'm very curious about the process that these people went through. Like, did they test this with people, or did they just decide, hey, we're going to slap a bunch of accessibility automation on this and that should be enough? Because I'm starting to wonder if that's what's happening here. Like, they did something? So you can read like what you're working on, but you can't see what you're working from. That is really interesting. So, I don't know. Also, how are you supposed to know from this if something is... Oh, okay, it does tell you not translated. I'm assuming that means there is no TM match. I wouldn't know how to verify that, but that's what I'm guessing is happening.
Ron, HTTP test with peach spelling error in spelling error profmet spelling error persic pitten spelling error under spelling error virtual spelling error spiel to spelling and spelling error irk spelling error blitz spelling error gene spelling error success dot segment 3 draft document spelling error in spelling error profmet spelling error persic pitten spelling error under spelling error virtual and spelling error spiel to spelling and spelling error irk spelling.
This should be a partial match right here because it starts in the beginning. It starts with the same word. So
document spelling error in document spelling error.
Do we have a partial match? And
right.
So can we find that
out?
Bottom.
Top. Document in profmet. No matches found or no lookup performed.
Okay, no matches found or no lookup performed. Isn't that automatic?
Right.
How do I look stuff up?
Bottom. Speech mode off.
Okay, so right now it doesn't look like that's a thing you can do. So, well, I mean, like I said, you can probably. Oh, that's also really annoying. So, it tells you that you're in a draft as well. That is good to know. But it tells you every time you change, and it also puts it on the braille display. So what's happening is I'm trying to read and it just says draft, and I have to click that away before I can read the line. These are all really small little hiccups. But if you're doing this like 1,000 times a day, that's going to mess with you. That's going to always be in your way. And if you have to do that 1,000 times, it's gonna bother you like a mofo. So let's see. This is still considered a draft though. Like an enter doesn't. Does enter do it?
Speed. Segment 1. Draft document Ron. https://nose.nl.
Okay.
Tab. New notification. Tab.
Yeah. Okay.
B. Tab. Tab.
Let's remove the tabs here.
Tab.
I don't think we need the tabs here.
Line feed. Speech mode off.
Enter. No. Control enter. Okay, it's gone.
Speech
That
mode.
moves to the next segment. And is this still a
Ron.
draft?
https://nose.nl. Segment 1. Translated. Document Ron.
Okay, alright.
https.
So control enter. Okay, control enter.
Speech mode off.
Really for realsies adds it to the translated list. Okay, so it's a draft until you do that, and then it's not a draft anymore. Okay, I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to get it. Huh. Okay. So, next thing, like if we do a bunch of translations, what I hope we should start seeing is that the translation memory is catching up and figuring out.
Speech mode talk.
There's
Test
stuff
with
that
peach
we've
seeds. The
seen
jungle gym
here
and spelling
before.
error does not end well. Segment 2. Draft document test with
So
peach
this
seeds.
is
The
still a
jungle gym.
draft. Let's commit that as well. Een proef met perzikpitten onder verschillende speeltoestellen in Urk blijkt geen succes. See, this is a long sentence. Right now, I'm gonna have to remember that whole entire sentence or edit it in place.
Space.
Let's edit in place.
F-E-O-R-P space N-E-E.
A test. Not in capital letters,
Space A. Caps lock.
A test. Met perzikpitten.
Space N. P-K-I-Z-R-E-P space E-E-M space.
With peach seeds. So this works in languages that have essentially similar structure.
Space.
But what's going to happen is if you do it this way, it's going to sound really machine translated because I am right now sort of forced to stick with the English with the English order of things, and that is fine for some things, but like particularly in Dutch, sometimes the whole sentence changes around, and like I'm gonna have to give this a second pass when I'm done to move stuff around. Like, so far this works under various. What do you call that in English? Speeltoestellen. Is there a word for that in English? Let's find out. We have to research. We have to figure out how you're supposed to translate speelgoedtoestel. So the speeltoestel is essentially a piece of furniture in a like a playground that you play on. So it's like a slide, or it's it's a thing you can climb in, or a thing you can run in. But we have a word, essentially play equipment, I guess would be a translation, but is there a word for that? Let's find out. Let's see what Google says. Speeltoestel. It says play set. No, that's not right. That's not right at all. So now I'm going to have to change this line because I can't use the word in place. There's no word for this in English. Under various, what do we call this? Attractions on a playground in Urk. I can leave that alone because that's the same in English. Haha. So it says appears to not be a success. I translated that as did not end well. I'm going to keep that up. I'm going to be consistent with that. So I'm going to verify that. Huh? Why is this in English all of a sudden? What the fuck? Okay, so this is wrong. Let's have
Speech
the
mode,
let's have the
segment 4,
speech because I
draft,
think
document.
something odd's
A test with peach
happening
seeds
here.
under various attractions on the playground and spelling error did not end well. Segment 3, translated. Document A, test with peach seed. The children in the park used the apple pits to throw at each other. Segment 4. A test with the children in the park used the apple pits to throw at each other. Segment 4, draft, document. The children in the park used the apple pits to throw at each other.
Okay, so interestingly,
mode
this
off.
seems to already be translated to English. It's also the wrong type of pits that they're using. So I'm guessing this is a machine translated line, but it doesn't tell me that. It doesn't tell me that this is a machine translated line. This is... Okay, let's have a look at why that's happening. So
Speech mode talk. A test with peach
we
seeds
have
under.
English. Is this machine translation? Is this a match in the TM? Why is this happening?
The children in the park used the apple pits to throw at each other. Segment 4, draft, document. The children in the park used the apple pits to throw at each other.
So we get no pointer about where this is coming from. What if we start exploring? Let's see.
Document the children in the document the tab doc left doc right doc bottom doc top document the kinder in the net park gebruikt in the persik pit na melker meti bekajelen dot found one matches.
Found one matches. Okay.
Document the kinder in the net park gebruikt in the apple pit in persik pit na melker meti. Document the children in the park used the apple pits to throw at each other. Test TM 3/24/2025 4:32:10 PM KM doc left
Okay, so
KM
it looks like
3/20.
in the TM we have a line that's similar, but it has a different types of seed in there.
test TM
So we would have to then see why that's happening. Like, why is there different seeds? Apparently there is a translation memory.
speech mode
From
off.
what I understand from the industry, basically this happens when you have a translation memory over several articles that essentially all contain very similar content. This will come from a different article that someone did, maybe like another translator, and they had a thing about apple seeds that were thrown by kids, and has kids throwing peach seeds rather. So essentially the thing is saying, hey, somebody before you, let's just call them John Doe II, translated this super similar line. You might want to just have this here so you can just keep going. The thing is, it doesn't tell you that. So at first glance, this looks like someone just fucked up. We cannot see where this came from. So we have to sort of just divine, with our clairvoyance, that this is a TM match. This is a translation memory match that's doing this. So I would then have to go in, use the apple pits to throw at each other. Apple pits to throw at each other. That flows oddly anyway, but yeah. Use the apple pits. So the first thing we need to do is turn apple pits into peach seeds. So let's do that. Apple seeds. Peach seeds. Peach seeds. And can we see the Dutch version of this somehow?
Speech mode talk. KM 3 test T KM 3/20 test KM.
Oh boy.
Safely remove hardware in the Trados Studio test file.
Oh boy.
List item. No previous. Document the children in the park. Document the kinder in the net park.
The kinder in a park. I can't see it in braille
Document
either.
tab control.
Oh,
Document the kinder in the net park gebruikt in de persik pit na melker meti bekajelen.
Om elkaar mee te bekogelen, to throw at each other. That is clumsily translated. Let's see if we can make that any better. Okay, so we can clean this up a tiny bit. We can make this be as ammunition to throw at each other. That is better because they're using bekogelen, which in Dutch means to be bullet. In Dutch, we have some interesting ways of sort of verbifying nouns, and this is one of them. Essentially, we're taking a noun, kogel, which means bullet, and we're making it be to be bullet, to bulletize someone with. So essentially, what we're doing here is we're saying we're using it as bullets to hit each other with. So yes, they're throwing it at each other, but this doesn't flow right. So I've changed it slightly. And now we can go to the next segment. What I don't like about this is that we weren't told where this came from. It does tell us translated or draft, but it doesn't tell us partial match or full match. Again, that is something I'd like to immediately be told about, like told to be made aware of, and it doesn't look like that's currently happening. So I'm not loving that.
Speech mode talk.
That's something they
Line
should
feed.
definitely improve. Let's continue. Control Enter. Hello.
The municipality of Z-word and Benenkert Wegehold Melta Gemeente, segment 5, not translated. Document Z-word and Benenkert Wegehold Melta Gemeente. The children in the park used the peach seeds as ammunition to throw at each other. Segment 4, translated. Document the children in the park used the peach seeds as ammunition to throw at each other.
Yeah, that looks good.
Z-word and Benenkert Wegehold Melta Gemeente, segment 5, not translated.
Yeah, so this is another translation thing. We can do it. Ze worden binnenkort weggehaald. They will be removed soon. So what I'm noticing in this application so far is there's a couple things you need to sort of just remember. If you get the source in your target field, for one, you need to know you're in the target field. That's not told to you. You need to know you're in the target field pretty much at all times. You don't seem, at least not that I can see, to have a way to move to the source field reliably. I kind of wish you did. Maybe you can. I can't find a way to do it. And it would not really surprise me if you can't, just because that is not something you would normally do. Ah, fuck off. God damn it.
Speech mode off. Speech mode off.
Perkele. Get rid of that. Basically, we got another stupid view seller. What are their names today? Who do we shame? Who do we shame? Who do we shame? Shame on TR Falcon 59. I mean, if you were 69, at least you'd have a cool name. But no, not even that. You're not even giving me that. It's just a bad time all around. You're gonna get banned, man. Goodbye. I think that worked. Whatever. But yeah. So, like I said, first thing you need to remember is you're in target. You see the source, but you're in target. The source is in target by default. You can't not have it do that. It's always there. So you can't just start typing. You have to either highlight the target first or delete it or do something else to it to make it go away. Otherwise, you get your target below your source, which I don't think anyone wants. Source below your target, which is not generally what you want. So that needs to be a thing that you do all the time. You need to do Control Delete, Control A delete. Does Control A select the entire segment or the entire thing? Let's try that out.
Z-word and Benenkert Wegehold Melta Gemeente selected.
Okay, good. That just selects the segment, so that is something. You have to do Control A delete to get rid of all the things in this particular segment, or just Shift N delete or something like that. Or you do it in what I've just been doing. You add it in place. You cannot easily recheck your source if you lose it. Like if you remove it in here, it's hard to find again. Like it doesn't really even easily do it in object navigation. If you do it in screenreader mode, you can kinda get the source, but it doesn't always seem to work reliably. Like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So that's not great either. There's probably hopefully there's a way to fix that, but this is definitely not something I would call turn around a project in record time. This is definitely stuff that would really annoy me. So what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to send them an email and ask if there is some kind of screenreader specific documentation they can give me, because I'm curious if I'm just not using it right. That's obviously a very, very possible thing. I don't know how this works. I've never used this tool before. I could very well be doing this completely wrong, and they have a way you're supposed to use it. But I just looked, and at least on the public web, outside of logged in portals or anything, I don't see any help articles that tell me how I'm supposed to do it. I think they're just sort of not quite there yet, maybe. So I'm gonna ask them that. But let's keep going. Another thing you need to remember is if you do have target language in your target, which is what you're looking at when you're looking at the arrow keys, that is a match of some variety. Either it's machine translated, or it's a translation and memory match, or it's something else. You can kinda check what it is by moving a couple objects to the right with object navigation. You'll see a little readout that says this is what we found in a translation memory. This is what the difference is. It does tell you that, not very clearly, but it's there. And then you sort of have to work from that, and you sort of figure out where that came from. I'm assuming that if you have machine translated content, it'll tell you that as well in the same way. But it is not obvious. It's not proactive. You have to go look for it. And it's not, again, reliable. Sometimes I can get to it. Sometimes it gets stuck somewhere in the window and it just doesn't work very well. Let's continue. Let's just keep going while I play with this. Let's just have more fun with it. I'm having fun. Ze worden binnenkort weggehaald. They will be removed soon. Okay, I just tried to do a shift home and that did not work. Let's try that. Why is it not letting me? Why is it?
Speech mode top. Meld.
It's messing with my.
Space comma.
Delete. Oh, okay.
Speech mode off.
Okay, found another bug. Whatever editor component you're using, it doesn't always indicate that you have something highlighted. I'm noticing. They will be removed soon. Meld de gemeente. Gemeente is an interesting word. Gemeente literally means municipality, but I don't think you ever really use that in a line like this. So I'm going to translate that as the city council reports. That is something I'd have to look into if that's an exact match. But yeah, that's what I would say. Oh! Okay.
Speech mode talk. De gemeente stort op het Z worden benenkt weggehaald. Meld deadline Z segment 5. Document Z. Space dub O. Document.
I found how you switch between source and target.
Speech mode off.
F6 is how you do that. So that is one of the things that we now know. That is one thing we now know. You can tell.
Speech mode talk.
The only way you can tell, does it say?
Document Z worden benenkt weggehaald.
No.
Document they will be removed soon. The city council reports.
The only way you can tell if you're in source or in target, because they contain the same content initially, is by trying to delete shit or type. Because you can't do that in source. You can't edit source paragraphs. You can only edit target ones. So that is something they're going to have to label somehow. They're going to have to say source document, target document, or something like that. That should be very doable, depending on how their initial internal UI stuff works. But that, I did not see that initially. I did try F6. That's one of the first things I tried. But because they look almost exactly the same, I didn't realize I had changed anything. But they do. Okay, that's how you flip. That is, I'm impressed that you can do that. That's good. That is something we now know. This is also something that if you don't know, you can even try that. You would not try that. All right. So we have another draft. This says municipality of Urk dumped the pits under various playground equipment in the Wilhelmina Park district. That's cool. That is some of the stuff that I already translated, I think. Where is that coming
Speech
from?
mode talk. Document the municipal. Document doc left. Doc top. Document de gemeente stort op het dit wordt er als underground under verschillende stil te stellen en het Wilhelmina Park dot. Found one matches. Document de gemeente stort op het dit wordt er als underground under verschillende. Document the municipality of Urk dumped the pits under various playground equipment in a test TM 3/24/22 KM.
Okay, no, that's from the
left.
That's from the target. It's from the
Speech
TM.
mode
That's
off.
not something I did. Okay, so the municipality of Urk dumped the pits. They're not pits. Peach pits? Peach seeds. Is it peach pits or peach seeds? It's seeds, right? I think it's both, actually. You can use both for this. Under various... It's pits. Okay, then I was wrong. I thought it was seeds for some reason. Okay, so pits under various playground equipment. So they chose playground equipment. Well, this is wrong because it'd have to be various pieces of playground equipment. Actually, no, not necessarily. Under various equipment. That is not wrong. It sounds a little but Yeah, in Dutch, that funny thing is it would be pitten. It would be pits. But apples also have pits. All fruits have pits. So I really double check myself. I know apple seed is a thing, but we'd say apple pit. So these kinds of things I'd always have to double check. This is another one. Various playground equipment. That is not wrong. It just sounds really for some reason. Huh. Yeah, this is fine. This can stay. I verify that. Mango bones? Qu'est-ce que fuck? Why are they bones? That's weird. Volgens de gemeente waren de perzikpitten een duurzaam alternatief voor het zand dat normaal gesproken wordt gebruikt. Alright. So this is a line that you can't edit in place because it Dutch does a thing where when you have multiple verbs in a sentence, they start sort of playing catch me if you can with the other verbs in the sentence. So now we have gebruikt, which is used all the way at the end of the sentence, even though it's in the beginning in Dutch. So let's see. Volgens de gemeente waren de perzikpitten een duurzaam alternatief voor het zand dat normaal gesproken wordt gebruikt. Okay. So now we can actually do this relatively a bit better. Why can't I delete? Okay. I don't love that the arrow keys up and down move you in between segments. I'm assuming you can turn that off because I noticed that control up and down do this too. I'd like it to bound box me in my segment because I keep going back and forth without meaning to, and it's kind of annoying. According to the municipality. Do you say that? According to the city, right? You don't really say according to the municipality. That sounds really Brit to me. Like, this is the people that govern the stuff happening in a certain city. Do you see the municipality for that? The peach pits were a more environmentally friendly alternative. And I'm going to make a spelling mistake here. To the sand that is normally used for this purpose. I'm going to make a spelling mistake. It now appears that the pits are being used for a different purpose. That looks right. Let's see where I got that from. Is that from TM again?
Speech documented now appears. Doc bottom. Doc top. Documented found. Documented middle glitch at the pitten voor elander dolword and jebrick dot. Found one matches. Documented middle glitch at the pitten voor elander dolword and jebrick dot. Documented now appears that the pits are being used for a different purpose. Test TM. Speech mode off.
Yeah, municipality is a direct translation of the word gemeente. It's just, you don't really say that. Yeah, municipality is something I used when I was less good at English. Or like, I have to go to the municipality because you do that if you want to go get your passport here, for example. But I don't think you ever really use that word in that way. It's more of a formal. The municipality of Nottingham Dippenberg has decided that peach seeds are now to be used as munition for the 59th Infantry unit of the Army of Guns and Roses. I don't know, something. Not this. Not a news report. It now appears that the pits are being used for a different purpose. I feel this loses the tone. It says a very different purpose. That is a subtle but small difference. So I made a mistake. Ze liggen overal. They are everywhere. I'm not going to translate further because this is not teaching us anything new. I'm going to go to the beginning of this thing and all the way to the beginning of the drafts. The first draft is empty. That's just an empty line. I'll type my name there. Hello. Oh, you can't type here. This is actually not something you can type. Normally, F7 in at least Office applications is the spell checker. That is therefore something people are familiar with. I wonder if that would also open spell check here.
spell checker. Ignore Alt plus I.
Yes, it does. And it actually is. This looks like the word spell checker. Did they just cannibalize Word for this bit?
Ignore all Alt plus G. Change all Alt, add Alt plus A. Options, Alt plus close. Not a dictionary. Read only selected.
Yeah, that's the old Office spell checker. That's like the 2008 or 2013 one.
Change to selected
Okay.
Suggestions list
So it looks like it checks both target and source, because it's now telling me that Urk doesn't exist. And while I'd love to agree with them on that, it's a vile nest of villainy. It does actually exist. So Urk is not wrong. No, you don't. I don't think you do. Like, maybe you do.
Ignore
I think
all
they have
plus,
like some kind of embeddable part of it, maybe, though. Yeah, ignore.
Pressed.
So that's
Suggestions
fine.
list Change ignore all Alt
Ignore
plus
all
G.
for
Pressed.
Urk. Urk is fine. You don't need to.
Ignore all
Oh
plus
wait, I did put Urk in there, didn't I? So that's probably just checking target.
Suggestions
never
list.
mind.
Wilhelmina Park. Wilhelmina Park.
Yeah, Wilhelmina Park is also a place.
Ignore,
you can
ignore
skip that.
pressed.
But it should find my misspelled
Ignore all
alternative.
suggestion.
There it is. Alternative. Change to alternative. I do
Not a
like
dictionary.
this,
Read
'cause
only
it's like
selected
not
alternate.
in dictionary. Alternative. That
Speech
is
mode
something
off.
I misspelled. And then change to alternative. I think the change to is something I'm always missing in Word. So I love that that's just here. And I can say, yeah, change that. Please do. Change. Alt-C. There's even a hotkey for it. There you go. Anything else I broke? ZR? I don't think we've gotten there yet. Change to ZR. What's the thing? Z. Okay, so what we are noticing is that we can't see the word in context. That's common to the older spell check. I can only see the word it found, but not the line it's in. So if I now escape out, it takes me to the line in question. Yeah, so it's having trouble with this because I didn't translate this yet. So that makes sense. So overall, I'm happy with how well spell check works. That's good. I like that a lot. That's actually not bad. Spell check works well. Editor works relatively well. I'd like it to bound box me in a segment. That may actually be something that really messes with someone's productivity. The spell checker shortcut for what? F7? We tried that. Okay. So translated literally, this would be they are lying everywhere. I'm just gonna say they're everywhere. Oh, is it? Oh, that's okay. That's fine. The Crescent says that we should try. That we should try the spell checker. Origin interactive score 94%. What?
Speech normally used for this purpose. Segment 7. Draft document normally used for this purpose.
Oh, did I not? There.
It now appears that the bits are being used for a very different purpose. Segment 8. Translated document. It now appears that the bits are being used for a very different purpose.
Did we just see a match readout? Because I saw like origin...
Spelling error Faye everywhere. Segment 9. Draft document. Spelling error Faye. Spelling error Amrup. Spelling error Flevoland took a look in the park and noticed that they were everywhere in the park, including in the grass. Segment 10. Spelling error Faye everywhere. Segment...
Yeah, this does feel very...
Line tick. Segment 9. Line feed. Segment 8. Translated. Origin interactive
yeah,
score
okay,
94%.
so origin
Document. It now appears that the bits are being used for...
94%. Don't know what that means.
Document top. Document and middle split. Found 1 matches. Document and middle split. That the pit and Voreen Elander Dolward and Jebrick dot. Document. It now appears that the bits are being used for a very different purpose. Test. TM. 3/25/2025 9:32:54
Yeah,
PM.
so it's getting it from the TM.
Jasper. Flory. Doc left. Doc right. Doc bottom. No results available. Doc left.
Not sure what that window is.
Doc status bar. Doc top. No next.
What's in
Status
a status bar right now?
All segments. Ends. 34.04%. 50.10%. 15.86%. Chars 73. 0/no next.
What I'm noticing this program has a
Speech mode
problem
off.
with is labeling things. Like, all the values are there, but they're not really connected to anything of note. So you can't really tell what anything stands for. I see, for example, a little pane that says no results found, which I'm assuming is some kind of search, being concordance or otherwise, and I don't know what it's doing, because it's just telling me the result of what it's done, but not what it's trying to do. 1 match found is equally vague in the sense that I am guessing that's the translation memory working, but I can't verify that. I'm having to go off what I'm seeing in the pane, the window in this particular case, and it does refer to the test TM that we have into this project. So by that, I can sort of conclude that it's the translation memory it's using, but that's not mentioned in the panes, and that is something that is generally very easy to fix. So I hope that we'll see them fix number these things. I kind of want to send this to them and see what they think of this. I want to talk to the person that wrote the blog article that I saw, because they might be receptive to talking to them. I might find them on LinkedIn after this and see if I can get them to talk to me about this. But yeah, it does look like there is some kind of score, Origin Interactive score. I'm not really sure what that means. That might be because I changed the thing very slightly. It's now not the same thing as the TM holds, and it's telling me about that. I'm not really sure why I would need to know that, but that's, I'm sure, super important. This is a spell check. I've deliberately left a spelling mistake in here, so let's do a spell check again to test Crescent Says' theory here. So I left the to be they are. It needs to be the are, but I left like they and then an e. Yeah, here it is. So they are.
Speech mode talk.
And we're going to be away from anywhere. I'm just going to press Alt-C and see what that does. Nothing whatsoever. Okay.
Not a dictionary.
So it did do it, but it doesn't tell you anything. So that is not something that currently
Speech mode
works,
off.
it looks like. You need to go look for what it is yourself. This is also not currently considered translated, so I have control enter. And this is another line. No, it's not. Ombrefrevron took a look in the park and noticed that they were everywhere in the park, including in the grass and on the skating rink. I mean, I think that line is honestly a little odd in Dutch as well. From what I can see, there's very many theys in there, and that can get a little odd. But yeah, I think that's about all I can really say right now. It works, kind of. No, Alt-C is the accelerator for the change button on... Yeah, Alt-C is like just the first letter for change. Accelerator hotkeys are basically a bit of a dinosaur concept that we used to have on Windows, where the first letter of a button would have a little sign around it, and if you knew what that meant, then you'd know that you could press Alt plus that letter in order to trigger that button without having to go to it first. Alt-O for OK, Alt-A for accept, Alt-N for next. Stuff like that. If you know that these things exist, you can go really fast through, for example, a setup wizard on Windows. Because if it supports it, you can just literally hit hammer Alt-N a couple times, then Alt-A for accept the agreement, and then Alt-N a couple times. Sometimes Alt-I for install. So you can just really quickly spam those key shortcuts and not even look at the wizard and just do it really quickly that way. Alt-Y for yes, Alt-N for no. Alt-Y for yes is something I do immediately when a UAC comes. Yep. The user account control thing that comes up when you have like a Windows thing that needs elevated access. Alt-Y is like, when I hear that sound, the first thing I start hitting is Alt-Y, just instinctively. Just not even looking at what it's asking. I know what I'm doing, so just, yeah, it's fine. So, nam een kijkje in het park took a look in the park and noticed and found that they were everywhere in the park. They were lying around everywhere in the park, among which the grass and the skate rink. Yeah. So I'm going to actually leave this translation alone. Took a look in the park and noticed that they were everywhere in the park. I'm going to remove the in the park. It's there in the Dutch as well. It's an awkward sentence in both languages. I'm going to leave it alone. En dus niet alleen op de plek waar ze moeten liggen onder de speel. Oh, that's the point they're making. Okay, so it's not just under the various equipment. It's all over the park because people have been using them as like, I'ma hit you with them things. Okay, so honestly, I think that's really all I have for today. One thing I want to check is something called there is a particular search you can do that like does a partial match. I want to see if that's accessible. I need to find the hotkey for it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. So this is one of those programs, it looks like, that has a lot of YouTube documentation about it. So many. Am I on YouTube? I'm on YouTube. Okay, that explains a few things. Let's see. All right. Okay, so it looks like search is sort of searching all along. I think that's what we're seeing with that no matches or like no results found thing, and then someone here is asking for a hotkey to just insert that into the target, which tells me that might not currently be an option. But let's see what the answers are. In the upper left window of Studio's editor, regardless of its comes out of the translation results tab or the concordance search tab. That would be helpful because you just always have the match and you can just change it. And Timothy Barton says that can start installing scripts. I think inserting the entire concordance hit would be useful at least 50% of the time. And then get a yeah. So people essentially say use auto hotkey for that, I guess, which we are not going to be doing either. But yeah, I think this is a relatively comprehensive look at what we can currently do. I'm sure there's things I missed. I'm sure there's things I could do that are like really interesting and things. But on the whole, mixed so far. Like I do like what they've done. Obviously it's kind of weird that it took them what? Let's see when Trados Studio was first released. Because obviously this is good progress. I'm just wondering, Studio first version release date. AI summaries for YouTube videos. I've never seen them, actually. I don't know how I would see those. Began developing Trados software in the late 1980s and released the first Microsoft Windows versions of the suite's major components. And so... As you'll Trados Studio 2011 is released. So we can at least say, okay, let's go with that. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and not look further. I know this is a wrong number, but if I Google like the release date of SDL Studio for Trados Studio, what I'm seeing is that in a PDF about the history of their program, they mention 2011 having been released. So if 2011 exists, that means that screen reader accessibility was not a thing for almost 15 years. Yeah. 15 plus years of people not being able to use what for all intents and purposes looks to be the industry standard tool to do this. I have not looked into other tools. I don't know if there's open source versions that work better, but that's a long time, guys. That's half my life that people were not able to use this. So that they're starting is good. I'm glad about that. I'm you know, there's two ways you can look at this. If you look at the stuff that happened around Fedora last year, I think it was Fedora. Someone essentially hyped up the fact that Fedora hasn't had a working screen reader for 8 years, and that's true. up to a point. I think there was like a problem with the installer and a couple of other things. So Fedora, no screen reader, 8 years. Okay, that is a number. That is a statistic that you now have, and you can do two things with that. You can get very mad, and that is very justified. If you want to get mad about the fact that you've essentially ignored a whole bunch of people for 8 years, and now, you know, you're trying to fix it and you're expecting gratitude, that is a very difficult situation to be in, because more than likely, the people you're dealing with now were not around when the decisions were made not to do that properly back 8 years ago. So what you then have happen is a whole bunch of very understandably mad people getting really frustrated with the people who are trying to fix it, who are trying to do the good thing. And that is really hard to navigate, because at that point, everyone's right. Like the maintainers are saying, listen, we didn't start the fire. We didn't do this. We didn't cause this to happen, and we want to fix it. So why are you guys getting up? Are you guys getting up our noses about the fact that this hasn't happened for 10 years? We're trying to fix it, and that's true. And then users also very understandably will say, where were you 10 years ago? Which is also true, because, you know, if we bring it down to this is not people, this is a company, you can make that point. You can say, you know, why wasn't this a thing the company was doing 10 years ago? And the answer is probably because they didn't know people with accessibility needs existed, or they didn't care, or they had other priorities. All sorts of things. Like, you don't know what caused the current situation to happen, but you do know that essentially you were excluded for an X amount of years, and you can get mad about that. That's fair. Heck, I get mad about that all the time. But I think having a constructive outlet for that anger, for that frustration, is good. Sometimes there isn't any. Like, I'm seeing that there is at least a person, someone who wrote the blog, that is at least giving the impression they want to fix it. I obviously don't know to what degree that's corporate speak, to what degree that's like something that they were given, that was ghost written for them, whatever. I don't know that. I don't know this person. I don't know this company at all. I only know this tool exists. I know that professionals use it. I know that last year a blog article went out about the fact that they did some accessibility work. I know they have an accessibility page that says that a couple of things work with screen readers. I know there's no documentation on how that's supposed to work, at least not that I could find. And I know that they promised, again, this is a promise, that they're going to make it better. They're going to do even more. I don't know to what degree that's being kept up with. Obviously, this was an article from about a year ago, like literally about a year ago, 12 months ago, like in April. It looks like the version that we're currently using, at least the major version, came out. And I don't know if a new major version's in the works. I don't know if they've been iterating on this. I know very little about what they've been doing since then. There is extremely sparse documentation, so I can't really give them a good or a bad review here. I don't know what they're up to. I'm going to see if I can find out, because I'm curious. I actually would like to help them. For people who know me a little bit better than the most, I'm big on languages. I really enjoy messing with languages. Have even considered maybe doing this as a side hustle / hobby / thing for a while when I was in college. Could totally see myself doing it even now, provided the tools work well enough. But I don't know, for that to work, you'd need to have the industry standard tools be accessible. And we've seen in coding, in hacking, in all sorts of fields that's not an easy one. We're seeing a couple of good things in that sense. Godot, there is someone who's working on a game engine that's hopefully gonna open the ways for people to make games accessible otherwise, but with an accessible-ish editor at least. That's not something we've had pretty much at all. Visual Studio Code shook up the landscape about 8 years ago with their accessibility commitment, which is still going, and that's actually one of the wins I would always point at. I've seen a couple of like cybersecurity tools pick up the slack here last year, most notably Splunk, even though that's not working immediately super well either yet, but they're working on it at least. And now this Trados Studio last year. I don't know where they are. Aren't they in Italy? I think they're in Italy, and I'm wondering if the EAA, the European Accessibility Act, lit a fire under their ass, because that is happening in a few months. That's not a web app, and I'm not sure how this works for non-web applications. I'd honestly have to look up the definitions, but they do have a web offering. I think they have like a cloud thing. So maybe they figured, we're gonna get like yelled at for this if we don't fix it. So very curious. I'm seeing a lot of old code in this. This is very much a legacy product. I'm pretty sure if I Google some of the things I've seen, like Ultra Grid, that I'm going to find like WPF things that haven't been maintained for like 10 years. So that's not helping them at all. That's definitely going to be a problem to fix. They may honestly have to rip that out and rebuild it, which is an expensive ask, so we'll have to see how that progresses. Yeah, they're working with what they can, and it looks like they've at least given it the old college try, and I'm hoping they're gonna maintain this in the coming time. We'll have to see. I'm gonna find that blog writer, see if they're still with the company, and if I can find them and ask them some questions, because I'm really curious how they're going with this, and if they have people to test for them and stuff like that. Otherwise, here, this is my commitment. I'll see if I can lend a hand if I have a little bit more time. This month, honestly, has been brutal work-wise, with a couple of other things going on as well. A couple of pet vet visits and a number of things, so it's been a lot. So it's been busy. And it should start, like, easing up a little bit once, I'm coming up to the end of one of my contracts. We're gonna have to see if that gets extended or not. I don't know yet. Last time I heard like 2 weeks beforehand it was gonna get continued, so we'll have to see come, next few months how that's going to progress and what's going to happen. But yeah, this is a fun little detour from hacking and then cracking. We're gonna be picking that back up to next week, probably some hacking if I have some time. I do think I'm gonna call it here. I don't really have anything else to discuss where this is concerned. I'm gonna call it right now. There's not much more I can really say. I don't have the proficiency to really find all the nooks and crannies in this, and I don't have tutorials to follow either, apart from the workflow that I think did for the most part. So, I hope I did good. Is all I can say. I hope I did good. I am now looking if there's anything I can raid. Anyone have a person they want me to raid? Adamfall is a game that came out that is supposedly not accessible in the sense that we can't navigate. Huh? Oh. But they did add a fuck ton of accessibility features to their game. So, I'm going to pause the Diablo 4 on Wednesday for tomorrow for a sec. Sorry, Matt Campos didn't tell you that yet. Forgot. But I'm going to check out Adamfall tomorrow. And we're going to pick Diablo 4 back up next week. Because I will not be here on Saturday, and I do want to kind of cash in on the release coming up. The thing with Adamfall is that they made people very mad in the sense that essentially they said, well, this is people working against themselves. But essentially, when they first started the accessibility page last year, they basically said a couple of things about, blind specific features, which made blind people think they would be able to play it. And then essentially a month or so ago, they turned around and said, actually, a couple things you would need to do that we're not going to do. And there's also no captions for people who are hard of hearing, so that is a great start. But they did add a whole bunch of other things like audio aiming and a couple of other things that, provided you can find your way around, which is going to be the big pickle. It's going to be like, I don't know. It's such in a weird place. It's in a really strange place. Basically, they even like refer to, we understand that some people might need a co-pilot. So they're using the C word, basically. They're aware that people are on Twitch, I guess, doing that on Twitch. And I guess somewhere along the line, maybe the money ran out, or they just decided, you know what, we're not going to be able to do anything for outright blind people in the sense that we've done some, but not everything. And I want to see what they've done. Like, I know I'm almost certainly not going to be able to play this by myself, but I want to see what they've done. I want to see if we can at least get the tutorial to work or whatever. I want to see where they dropped the ball, and I want to see where they didn't. So that's going to be tomorrow in the ZerCX channel. If you're curious about that, definitely come check that out. It's going to be, I don't know, I'm experimenting with the time. Like, you know, normally I start at 9 European time and I go until like 11, 12, 1, sometimes 2. Hey, Marco? We were like at 2:30 last time with the Diablo. So that was that was a fun one. But I don't know. I don't know if that's a good time for everyone still. Like, I honestly have had a really hard time promoting these streams as of late. Like, I find these things interesting and therefore I'll keep doing them. I don't know if there's a time that works for more people. I honestly don't know that. I've just been playing with it a little bit, and we'll see how that progresses. It'll probably just be tomorrow at 9, like I normally do. But maybe a little earlier. I'll point it out. It'll be on the socials. I'm on Mastodon if you want to follow that. I'm honestly not sure what else I should be on at this point because I keep changing everything. And this week, you know, this crypto bastard is a bastard, and next week the other crypto bastard is a bastard. So I don't really know where I'm supposed to be anymore, but I'm on Mastodon. I'm on Blue Sky, although I need to use that more. So I might put it up there. We'll see. Anyway, this has been me. I'm looking for someone to bully. Oh, Moose and Tato are around. Let's see what they have going on. They're doing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Not really the vibe I'm going for right now. Ay. I'm tired. It's been a tiring week. It's been a tiring month. Let's see. Anyone else I can bully? Nah, I think I might just call it. Oh, you know what? There is an AWS stream. What are they doing? They just started. Does it say in the email? Anything cool? Computer related? Streamlining operational troubleshooting with Amazon Q developer. I don't hate you guys that much. I think I'm just gonna call it for now. Guys, this has been super fun. I had a lot of fun digging into this. Adam Fall tomorrow on the ZerCX channel. Next week on Tuesday, we're probably gonna pick Hack the Box Academy back up. Honestly, in Try Hack Me, I've grown kind of sour on Try Hack Me. If I'm entirely honest, I have given them content up the wazoo, and they're just essentially ignoring the fuck out of me at this point. Even that person that reached out in December has not gotten back to me. I've poked them a few times, but no response since like mid-December. It's March now. 3 months of no context, I usually sort of, mark up as being ghosted. So at that point, that wouldn't be the first time from these guys. So I'll probably do Hack the Box Academy. We'll do the occasional try Hack Me because they're just, their content is decent, even if their mentality isn't. But in that sense, we're gonna call it for right now. Next week, Diablo, if we find it. And yeah. We'll have to see what the rest of the universe brings. It's been so busy. It's been so like haphazard. I don't know what's gonna happen the next minute, let alone next week. So we're gonna see. Anyway, thank you so much for checking me out. I was having trouble finding a topic, and then I found this topic and another couple of topics. So I'm good for the next few weeks. But yeah, it's good. I'm glad that we keep this tracking. IC0's almost a year old, guys. Literally a few weeks from now, I think, is when I first started this. So we've been going for about a year. We got about 200 and something followers. I think that's okay. That's pretty good. Don't hate those numbers. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking this stream out. I'm gonna see if I can find the person that wrote the job blog post. Maybe we can have like a sequence after this. Sequence. Yeah, April or May, I forget. Somewhere around that time. April or May, I have to look it up. But whatever, I'll get a stream reversary thing. We'll do something fun, we'll see. Anyway, guys, thank you. Have a good day. Have a good night. Sleep well if you're going to sleep. Don't sleep well if you're not going to sleep.